Wait, hold on. So are you saying that if somebody is educated in a specific subject, that he can't go ahead and master it? Are you saying that if someone is educated in a subject, that he can't go ahead and master it?
I never said that.
Okay, so it's possible someone may be educated in a thing and then goes ahead to master it, right? Is that possible? Okay, good. So do we have contemporaries, such as Abdullah bin Salam and Zayd bin Thabit, according to the Hadith, does it say that they knew the Bible, yes or no?
Does it say that they knew that? It says he went on to learn the Jewish.
So they knew the Bible, right?
The Jewish scriptures.
So they knew the Old Testament, right?
The Old Testament.
Okay, so did they know that?
So he knew the Old Testament.
Good. So contemporaries of Muhammad knew the Old Testament.
Yeah, so
when Muhammad, okay, so when Muhammad edits specific parts of the Old Testament, such as the account of the Exodus, and he knows the Bible, it means he doesn't believe that. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. Dude, if contemporaries know it, brother,
he could know something, but it doesn't mean you know.
If contemporaries know it, and Muhammad is actively relaying information about the previous scriptures,
wait a second, you
then
still haven't proven.
Hey brother, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm proving it.
You're going around, but you haven't actually.
Can you let me finish? Do you want to listen to the argument or no?
No, I've heard your argument.
Okay, no, you haven't, because you spoke over me. Pay attention. Nice. If contemporaries know it, and the author that's teaching them is actively relaying information about the Old Testament, then it means that he has active knowledge of it, because he has access to the people.
Where did it say that he's teaching them?
Zayd bin Thabit is a student of who?
Where does it say that he's teaching?
Who do you think Zayd bin Thabit is? Zayd bin Thabit is a student of Muhammad.
Who learned the recitations of it.
Yeah,
where does it say
exactly.
He's teaching him the Old Testament?
Dude,
where does it say he's teaching them the Old Testament?
I didn't say he's teaching the Old Testament. I didn't say that. I said he's teaching them, and he's actively relaying information. Brother, let me finish. He's teaching them, and he's actively relaying information about the Old Testament, such as the account of the Exodus.
So prove that.
When the Quran, dude, wait, I'm telling you, such as the Quran saying that the Exodus amount was small. It was it was a few people, while the Exodus says it was a lot of people. Okay, so the author, although has access to these people and have access to him, he makes that change. So if he makes that change and he has access to people who know the scriptures, then he's doing it consciously, because he knows the people that know it.
You're still just making a whole load of jumps.
Can you repeat what I said?
Can
you repeat what I said, please?
You said that the guy who knew the scriptures taught the scriptures to Zayd bin Thabit, and he's making conscious efforts to edit the scripture because he knew them already before he transmits it down to Zayd bin Thabit.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that he has access to these people that know the Bible. Wait, let me finish. Brother, let me finish. He has access to these people and the people. Okay, but you can wait your turn and then you can let me know. Simple. So he has access because it's a conversation, is it not? That's fine. It's a conversation, right?
Just know that you're not in charge.
Okay, so he knows the people, and the people know him, and they act. And Zayd bin Thabit and Abdullah bin Salam.
Who are the people that know the scriptures?
That's irrelevant.
I'm asking you a question.
That's irrelevant, dude.
I just want to know where your
Does the hadith say that? Does the hadith? You see how you're jumping around? Does the hadith say that Zayd bin Thabit knew the Old Testament or no? Okay, you're doing an internal critique, correct?
I'm not doing. No, you were the one
doing
an internal critique of this.
You're examining.
You're the one who's trying to do an internal critique of this.
You're panicking.
But you're realizing
you
don't have any epistemic
brother,
knowledge.
in order, what the hell is epistemic knowledge?
Bro, stop asking me what.
What the hell is that?
Bro, Google it.
You don't know.
Epistemic.
Oh my God. Epistemology is the study of knowledge. You're saying knowledge. You don't know what you're talking about. So stop. Just stop, bro.
Where's your epistemology for what you're saying?
Okay, I'm literally telling you. Just before we continue, the way. Can you focus here, please? Just focus. The way for you. Alright, bro. Whatever. The way for you to come to know that there's an argument that arises within Islam, there's going to be a contradiction within the system. You're already granting the system, because to do an internal critique is to derive a contradiction within the system being critiqued. Brother, track, please track, brother. Please track.
And to critique this.
Brother, your argument is, oh my days, your argument, you're panicking, brother. Calm down. Your argument, because you're speaking over me, mid-sentence.
No, I'm speaking.
Every time you speak, I let you speak.
Because you're talking rubbish.
Okay, I think you're talking rubbish, but I'm still letting you speak. So, okay, exactly. So there's a conversation, it's a discussion. You think I'm speaking rubbish, I think you're speaking rubbish, so let's hash it out. The way to hash it out is for you to do it sensibly. I let you speak, you let me speak. Although we both think we're speaking rubbish. Sounds good? Okay, so the argument I'm trying to make is the Quran confirms the previous scriptures holistically.
I'm not trying to make that.
Oh my, so now you're not making an argument? So now you're not making an argument? Yeah, but does the Quran say that therefore it's false, or are you making that?
No, the Quran makes that.
Where do you get? Okay, are you deriving the conclusion from your argument? Now you're just jumping around. Now you're just being difficult. Brother, are you making an argument right now or not?
conclusion from what.
Okay, so to make a conclusion,
You're the one who's got
to make a conclusion,
You're the one who's got to prove
Alright,
that
bro.
it's consciously making.
To make a conclusion is to make an argument.
You've got to prove that.
Wait, can there be a conclusion without an argument?
prove it.
Wait, answer the question. Can there be a conclusion without an argument? Prove what? Answer the question. Engage. Can there be a conclusion without?
Claim is false.
Okay, brother, track. You just said you're not making an argument.
Claim is false.
You see, every time I catch you, you get caught.
That
You get
the
caught.
claim is false.
Alright.
Because I'm bored.
Exactly.
I'm just
Here we go. Pay attention.
saying the same
Pay
thing
attention.
round and round. You're not making any. You're not got any proof.
I got you. The author of the Quran has access to people that know the scriptures to a good extent,
Like-
and these. Can you let me finish? I'm done trying to entertain your jabs.
Asking questions.
And the
I'm
people
not making
such
no
as
jabs, I'm just asking.
brother, now you're just like you're wasting your own time. And
not
these
wasting
people
my own
and these
time. I'm not
people
wasting
such
my
as
own
Zayd
time.
bin
I'm cool,
Thabit
bro.
and
I'm
Abdullah
chilling,
bin
bro. I was
Salam
here before you
have
got here.
access to him. They have access to him and he has access to them.
Yep.
And while they're interacting with each other,
Yep.
he gives details about the previous scriptures that contradicts what they learnt about the scriptures. Okay, so if he's contemporary to them and they're actively learning under him, it would follow.
And how do we
that-
know that any of that information is correct?
which detail specific, so I can give you the
How do we
hadith.
know that any of
Yeah,
if-
which-
as in, how do we
give me the
know-
detail.
How would we know that any of these supposed conscious edits are actually correct? How do we know that?
Wait, it's irrelevant whether or not they're correct or not. You know why?
No, but how do
Wait,
we-
I'm answering you.
How would-
You asked me a
how
question.
would we know?
You asked me a question. Can you let me finish? It's irrelevant or whether or not they're correct or not. What's relevant is whether or not the author challenges something in the Bible that he does not believe is correct. Under that statement, if you can see to that, then it follows that the Quran does not confirm the Bible holistically. And then there's no argument. It doesn't matter whether... Wait, let me finish. It doesn't matter whether or not the information is correct or no. What matters is that if the author knows the Bible and while doing so changes it, then it follows he does not believe the entire Bible is true. So now answer. Does the author have access to people who actively had knowledge of the Old Testament, yes or no?
Bro, you haven't proven that.
Alright, bro. You read the Hadith, bro. Does the Hadith say that they learned the Jewish scriptures?
Yeah.
Okay, so he had access-
So but that's not the whole Bible.
Okay,
though,
so
is it?
they had, I said Old Testament. So you see how you're not tracking?
No. But you just.
I
the
just
whole
said
Bible,
Old
just-
Testament.
you just said
No, I said Old Testament. You're not tracking. So does he have access to people who know the Old Testament to a good extent?
People who you think know the Old Testament to a good
Alright,
extent.
bro.
You've got
So,
no evidence.
so
to
now
show
you,
know
so,
the
so
Old
now
Testament.
you're not accepting the Hadith, right?
Bro,
You're
I
rejecting the
told-
Hadith.
I told you I don't have to accept
Okay,
the
good.
Hadith. I'm not
So
Muslim.
you're
Why would I have to
okay.
accept
Okay.
the Hadith?
So
Like,
just to be clear,
like,
you're
why?
rejecting the primary evidence that I'm providing,
How
right?
do you know that that's primary evidence?
Okay, because we have.
I'm not doing any critique.
Okay.
No, I'm not doing
One second.
any critique.
Wait. So
Rayhan.
just to be
this
clear.
guy came up and wanted
So,
to
so
talk to me.
wait.
I
Watch
didn't
this.
even want to talk
So
to
just
you.
so just to
I
be
don't
clear,
even know who
you
this
have a
guy
stand.
is.
You have a
I don't
stand.
even know what your name is,
You have a
bro. I've
stand.
never even met
You don't need to
before.
know my
This
name.
is my first time seeing
But
you
wait,
live.
just
And you came up
so
here.
just to be
You came
clear,
up here
if the
and you
Hadith
wanted
is
to critique the
authentic,
material.
then there's no Islamic dilemma, right?
Pardon me?
If the Hadith that I presented is authentic and can be verified, then there is no Islamic dilemma, correct?
But bro.
Answer the question.
You can't actually verify
Answer the question.
any hadith by my
Alright,
standards.
wait. If it's
By
authentic,
my standards, you
No,
can't
nice,
verify
nice.
any hadith.
Before we-
like the Islamic
okay,
standard of
listen to the-
science of
listen to-
hadith
listen to the
is
condition.
Not my
Alright,
standards
nice.
for verification. of
amazing.
anything.
Sounds good.
So you can't
Listen to the
actually
question.
verify anything.
Listen to the question.
So it'd be
Now
like
you're
trying to
panicking.
prove that unicorns
Alright,
exist.
sounds
You
good.
can't do that.
Sounds good. Amazing.
You can't do
Given the condition that the Hadith is authentic according to your standard, given the condition, would it then follow that there is no Islamic dilemma?
Can you take a step back?
Brother, I'm two steps
take-
away.
can you take a
I'm
step
two steps away from
Can
you.
you take- 'cause I
Now
don't
he's
like the way you
panicking. Now he's just panicking.
No.
All right, here we
No,
go.
I'm not panicking.
Listen
I just don't want
to
your hands
just
in
listen to the question. I'm two steps away from it. If wait, given wait, just don't give him any
Stay
ammo.
on the bench, bro.
Given that the Hadith is authentic according to your own standards, given that's a given, that is granted.
According to
Would
my
it that
own standards.
your standards?
Why is it my standard?
Because you accept it based on your standard, right? Thank you so much.
Based on what standard?
Brother,
Based on what standard?
brother, listen,
What-
listen,
wait, what
listen to the
standard
question.
Are you talking about here?
Your
Because
standard.
You're telling me
yeah,
my standards.
Yeah,
So
your
what
standard.
are my standards?
All my days. What?
No, tell
yeah,
me what my standards
brother,
are,
brother,
because
stop.
You can't tell
Yeah,
me
he's
I accept
panicking.
anything based
He's
on my
panicking.
standards.
Brother.
If you can't tell me what my standards
Just
are.
listen to the
What
question.
are my standards?
Listen to the
firstly?
question.
No, firstly,
What-
tell me
brother,
what my
stop
standards
talking.
are. No,
You're
no,
panicking.
No, because
You're
you're
panicking.
the one who came here to talk to me.
Given the
So you can't
condition
tell
that the
me to stop
Hadith is
talking.
authentic according to your standards,
What
would it then
standard,
follow?
bro?
Would it then
My
follow,
gosh, bro.
brother?
How can we have a conversation
Brother,
if you don't
stop.
even know what standard
I got
you're
you
talking about?
because you said that you're not accepting the evidence that I'm given based on the fact that the Hadith can't be verified according to your standards. Now let me finish. So I said, okay, before we jump into what your standard is and whether or not it's epistemically justified, before we jump into that, I need to know whether or not, based on the fact that it is granted to be authentic, that then the Islamic dilemma wouldn't follow. Because when we then go into your standard and I prove to you that the Hadith is authentic according to your standard, you don't go back and backtrack and say, well, oh no, it was my standard, but now I'm changing it. So now, before we get into your standard, I need to know, granted your standard, If the hadith matches that standard, would you agree that then there is no Islamic dilemma?
Well, I wouldn't agree that there's no Islamic dilemma. I'd say that there's no Islamic dilemma maybe for a Sunni Muslim who accepts all of the hadith.
Thank you. That's all I need, man. That's all I need.
But Quranically,
Hey, GG's, bro. You're done. I'm not a Quranist. I'm not a Quranist. So can you say to the camera, for Sunni Muslims there's no Islamic dilemma, right?
Pardon me?
For Sunni Muslims there is no Islamic dilemma, right?
But that's because you don't even know the hadith
Alright,
standard.
done. Done.
Hadith can't even be verified.
Thank you, bro.
Your hadith can't even be verified.
Hey, amazing. You just conceded, bro. You just said Sunni Muslims have no Islamic dilemma. GG's.
No, I'm saying based on something.
Yeah, done. You just conceded. Oh, man. You guys are too easy, bro. So he just conceded that if the ahadith that I provided are authentic, then there is no Sunni dilemma. There is no Islamic dilemma according to the Sunnis. It's only if you're a Quranist. Or GG's. That's the concession. And we just quote on camera as well. That's it, man.